Hello everybody, it's Cobalt here. Welcome back to another video. Because Thanksgiving is this week and I know a lot of people are on break, I am posting a video every single day this week. And also, happy Stranger Things Season 5 premiere day. Oh my god, no spoilers in the comments please. But anyways, in today's video I'm going to be showing you a bunch of customs that I finished back in 2024. These were all commissions, and if you are interested in commissioning me yourself, there will be a link to my Etsy shop down below in the description. But anyways, without further ado, let's get right on into it.
This next commission is for a friend of mine over on Instagram. This is their second time commissioning me, and I really appreciate it. This is his original character named Bodie, and here's the reference sheet that was given to me. I absolutely love this character design. I think he's super cute. I love all of his colors, and I had a lot of fun turning him into an LPS. So as you can see, he's made from a sheepdog base, and this custom doesn't really have sculpted parts, but if you're familiar with the LPS sheepdogs, they actually have a flower that is molded in here, so I cut that off, and then you can see there's like 4 little pieces of hair here that I resculpted, but I think I did a pretty good job of, blending it all together. I really love the way that the eye looks. I think it's super cute, and I love the flower shine in the eye as well. But yeah, once again, here is a little overview of what he looks like, and here is the bottom. Here is the next commission. I think this is actually the first time I have ever made a stickerite LPS as a commission, so that was a lot of fun. If you're not sure what this LPS is supposed to be, it is supposed to be the prototype version of the red collie. This prototype was never released as far as I know, and this is really the only photo of it from an LPS checklist. So I think it's very interesting, and I think it's really cool that the commissioner wanted me to create this into a custom. So obviously this is an authentic base figure. I had to customize the only stickerite collie that we have to turn it into this custom. So I think it was a worthy sacrifice because I feel like this design is very cute, very interesting, and definitely a lot better than the original stickerite collie. The only thing I will say is I feel like looking at her finished now, her eyes are a little bit off. This one is definitely too low. I really like the way that I painted the eyes. I think that they both turn out really good, but I wish I could just raise this one up a little bit higher. Of course, with sticker eyes, it's definitely a challenge to first off make them symmetrical, but also make them placed correctly on the face because there's really, no guide for it like a normal LPS would have. And if you are curious, here's what she looks like compared to the officially released version of this collie. As you can see on this custom and the prototype photo, this one has a much darker color scheme. It's got a much darker gradient on top, and this one has more of a lighter gradient on the bottom as opposed to the dark one here. But yeah, I basically just tried to get everything as spot on as I could. I'm pretty happy with the color matching that I did for the base red. I think it looks pretty good. But overall, I just thought that this custom was a very fun challenge and experiment, and if you are curious to see how I painted this one, I actually do have a time-lapse video of it up on my channel, so please go consider checking that out. This next commission is a pretty complex one. It is of a character from the Splatoon games. I don't actually know if she's in both of the games or just one of them. This character's name is Harmony, and I think she is like an NPC or like a character that works at a shop that you can buy items from. I don't really know anything about her other than that, but the commissioner did tell me that she is a very head empty sort of character, so I really wanted to incorporate that in the way that I designed her. But I think this custom is really cute. It's definitely very unique. I feel like this is not something that I would normally make. It really doesn't even look like something that I made, but I do think that it looks very cool. So this is made from a Cocker Spaniel base figure, and as for sculpting, I sculpted the bit of hair here along with these 2 strands next to her ears, and then of course all of the hair on the back and also her hat. I really like the way that I sculpted the hat. I'm pretty proud of that. It's definitely not the best. I don't really sculpt hats very often, so that I think was definitely the most challenging aspect of this custom, but I am happy with the way that it turned out, and I think the paint job of it looks really cool. I also sculpted her shirt, this little bracelet that she has, the skirt, and her shoes. And I definitely had to simplify the design a little bit. Splatoon characters have very complicated designs, but I think that I still captured her essence here. The most detailed part of her is definitely the eyes. I really wanted to try to paint them exactly the way that they look in the game and add all these little details and colors in them. And overall, I think that she looks really cool. Here's the bottom. Nothing too much to say about it. I also definitely like the way that all of the colors fit together. I just think it's a very interesting design, and I really hope that the commissioner likes it. This was a commission for my buddy Tay over on Instagram. Fun fact, they actually commissioned me a few years ago, and they were one of the first people that ever commissioned me through my Etsy. So I had a lot of fun getting to reunite with them through this commission and make another one of their characters. So here is the reference that they sent me. They sent me a couple references, but I feel like this is the one that kind of looks the most like the custom. But then obviously he has a little bit extra sculpted parts than what that has. So he's made from a Jack Russell Terrier base. It's a base that I don't really get to use very often, but I think it is so cute. And luckily this one has a really good bobble. I find that a lot of Jack Russells honestly have pretty bad neck pegs, but this guy is pretty good in that regard. And he also has this tail that I added, which is from a Persian cat, and I think that it looks so cute on this custom. The reason why I added this tail instead of sculpting one is just to keep it in the price range that Tay was was looking for, you know, keep it in their budget. That's something that I try to do. I try to be realistic with what I can do in different people's budgets. So I'm always willing to compromise with little things like that because all of my prices are pretty much solely based off of the amount of sculpting that I have to do. But anyway, speaking of sculpting, as you can see, this guy has these horns that I sculpted. He also has some piercings on his ear, and then of course this full head of hair, which is sculpted because of the full head of hair. This guy fell into my human category, even though obviously he is very much a dog character and not a human at all. And then of course I also sculpted his clothes. These clothes were a lot of fun. I love his little bow tie, but as you can see, he's wearing overalls, which is something that I've never sculpted before. So it was fun to sort of figure out how I would translate that onto his body. And it's definitely one of my favorite parts of this custom. Here's what the bottom looks like, and I believe this character is like half demon, so that's why he has this really cool red demon eye and these little devil horns. Overall, I just really love this character's design, and I love how everything about this custom just came together in the end, and he is definitely one of my favorites that I think I've done for 2024 so far. This commission is for somebody over on Etsy, so I kind of added some clay here and here to, I guess, like close it, and then you can see that there's like an eye socket there. There's just no eyeball in it, if that makes sense, and then there's the scar over it as well. I did a really bad job of explaining that, but I just think it looks really cool, and any characters with like scars or like missing eyes are automatically like 10 times cooler in my opinion. But besides that, I also sculpted the little golden piercings that it has on both of the ears. I also sculpted this hair. I really love the way the hair looks like from the front, and then as you can see on the back, it kind of goes down in like this mohawk shape, and then it has these two braids as well, which were sculpted, and then these two feathers here with this light gradient on them. On the body, it has these like golden bracelets on all of its legs, on the front legs and the back legs. And then for the tail, the tip of the tail ends in this fire, which I had a lot of fun painting as well. It sort of has this gradient that goes from like the reddish color of the body up into the fieriness of the tail. But fire is something that I really enjoy painting. It sort of has a gradient texture as well, but it's a little bit more of a sloppy gradient, I suppose, just because fire is such like an organic substance. It's, you know, you can just use like a lot of different little splotchy colors in there. So I think it looks really cool. That's honestly the last thing that I painted because I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to pull it off, but I definitely pulled it off in the end, and I added a bit of gloss glaze to it as well, just to give it that like fiery appearance that it has. And then I love the way that I painted this character's eye. It just has a yellow eye, and then because it has like all these little golden jewelry bits, I did add a little bit of gold shimmer in the eye as well, which I think you can kind of see there. And this character also has some cool eyebrows, which I had a lot of fun painting. And for the base figure, this is made from a G7 Jaguar base, a base that I really love, so I'm very glad that it has returned for G7. This character also has these really cool tattoos on its body. This one right here on its leg is so small. I definitely didn't get it like totally accurate to the base just because of how tiny it is, but I tried my best. These are all done by hand with a paintbrush. It is exactly the same on the other side as well. Try to get it as best I could. I don't really have the steadiest of hands. As you can see, my hand is kind of shaking right now, but I tried my best. I think it gets the point across, and I definitely think it's a very cool design detail. Next up is this commission. This was a commission for somebody over on Etsy, and I definitely had a lot of fun with this one because it's a base figure that I have never used before. I actually bought this base at LPS Con last year, and I've been waiting to use it for a while, so I'm glad that finally somebody gave me the opportunity to do so. This one doesn't really have too many sculpted parts. As you can see, I sculpted the little fangs and then also this gem that it has here on its chest. I did also have to add a little bit of clay here on its forehead because this base has some extra like little tufts of hair that the commissioner asked me to cut off, so I did have to smooth that down with a bit of clay and sandpaper. Luckily, it's not too terrible. Oh, and I did slightly round the ears down a little bit as best I could, so I kind of cut off the tips of them and then added some more clay there to smooth them out as well. And here is the reference sheet that they provided me, so you can see how it turned out compared to the final custom. I think my favorite thing about this custom is definitely the eyes with the like pearlescent glitter that I added them. This is sort of like a glitter paint that I have. It's like clear with just some sparkly glitters in it. So I did that to the eyes as well as the gem on the chest, which I think looks so cool. I've never used it in eyes like this before, so I'm totally gonna use it again on a different custom, and I just think that it looks really nice with that teal blue color. But yeah, other than that, it's just a light blue with a bunch of dark blue stripes. Not too much going on the back of the head, but I do love the stripes on the tail as well. It also has these painted on claws, and finally I decided to add some bright blue little paws on the bottom as well, just to tie the whole design together and give it sort of like a little surprise detail on the bottom. If you've been keeping up with this type of video from me, this custom might honestly look a little bit familiar. This is from a returning customer who has commissioned me one other time, and he commissioned me for this custom, which is of Monica from Doki Doki Literature Club. And this is essentially the same custom, but it's in like her evil glitched form, which I think only appears like one time in the game. I don't know, it's been such a long time since I knew the lore, but I do really love the way that this custom custom turned out. Basically, it's the same exact collie base figure, and all the sculpting is exactly the same as well, or as best as I could get it to be compared to the reference photos that I had for my original custom. So I sculpted the hair here on the front, like the bangs, as well as these 2 longer strands here. The bow on the back of her head is sculpted using a mold, and then of course I also sculpted her clothes, so she has this dress and this bow tie on her. So everything is black and white or monochromatic, but I did add a couple of gray details to make them stand out, like how in my original custom she had these heart shapes on her ears. I painted those in gray. The highlights in her hair are gray, and then the bow on her dress is gray as well. And for the eyes, we definitely had a bit of a challenge trying to figure out how to make the eyes look better on the custom, because before I had just done the black circles, which definitely looked dead, which I guess is the point, but didn't really fit the vibe. So after I added the eyebrows and the eyelashes, as well as these like lines under her eyes, it definitely made the whole thing come together a lot more. I think the eyes also make this custom look a lot creepier as well, which I really like, and it was very fun to revisit this custom, and especially with the sculpting, like try to get everything exactly the same and then painting it differently was a really fun challenge. And this is a commission for somebody over on Etsy who I have worked with before in the past, so I'm really glad that they came back to me for another commission. As you can see, this is actually a head swap, and it is a crouching cat head on a raccoon body because their character is a raccoon, but the commissioner thought that the crouching cat head looked a lot cuter, and I definitely agree, and honestly I think this head swap looks perfect. Like, this could totally work as a raccoon head, and I really love the way that it looks. Anyways, like I said, this is their OC, so here is the reference sheet that they sent me, and as you can see, I sculpted the hair tufts, the little eyebrows, and the scarf onto this custom. I think the design is super cool, and I love all the colors, and even though it was only half of a raccoon, this was my very first time ever using a raccoon base for a custom. And I also decided to give it these tiny little hearts in the eyes because I noticed that the nose had a little heart shape as well. This commission is once again for somebody over on Etsy, and it is of their OC that I sort of helped design. Basically, they approached me asking for a custom inspired by this custom right here that was made by Ren's Art Forge. So I took some of the similarities like the white base and the brown markings, but of course definitely changed it up, and I went ahead and checked with Ren ahead of time just to make sure this was okay, and they said it totally was. So then I turned it into this person's character, and the main thing that they asked that was different than Red's original custom was to add these angry eyebrows and give him red eyes. I really love the way the eyes turned out, and I think it's definitely my favorite part of the custom. Other than that, this is actually just a partial repaint where all of the white is the original base, and I just ended up painting the eyes and the brown markings. This commission was a ton of fun. It was once again for somebody over on Etsy, and for this one they actually wanted me to take this base figure and give it the design of this Generation 5 or Generation 6 LPS here. And I think that's super cool because honestly I love the design of that LPS, and I think that it translated so well onto a G2 base figure. As you can see, I did end up doing a little bit of sculpting here. I sculpted the hair, which is inspired by the hair that the LPS bats have, and then I sculpted this collar as well, which again is inspired by a combination of some LPS collars that exist in real life, but it has these little stars here, and it's just a cool spike collar. I really love the colors of this one, and I think again this LPS has a super cool design, so I'm glad that I was able to add it onto a custom, and I added these little paws on the bottom as well, and I just think this one turned out really well.
And that was the last custom for this video. Of course, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow with another one of these videos. Bye!